What's up people, it's TylerPath, and today I'm talking about the only 5 shoulder exercises you need to build well-rounded 3D shoulders. This video is building upon the 3 side delt, 3 rear delt videos that I made, and you can treat this as a full standalone shoulder workout with no BS, no junk volume. So before we head out, it's early in the morning, so I'm gonna try some of this My Protein iced way forward roasted chocolate coconut iced coffee flavor. You gotta be careful, it's like 160 milligrams per full scoop. All right, I'm gonna kill the rest of this, and I'm gonna see y'all at the gym. Let's get it. All right, we're at the home gym as of late, LA Fitness in Lakeview. We're about to hit the shoulder workout. First off, hey, check out my fit. Do I look like Jungkook? Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. Let's get it. All right, so the key to a well-rounded shoulder workout is hitting all 3 heads of the shoulders, right? I'm gonna put B-roll over this, but you got your front delt, your side delt, and then your rear delt. Overall, for most people, the front delts are generally the most overdeveloped part because you get some front delt involvement in pretty much every pressing motion you do, including bench press, incline dumbbell bench press, whatever it is, right? So what I tend to do is I dedicate most of my volume to side and rear delts, and for front delts, all I really stick to is a shoulder press, which is gonna be the first exercise we move to. Let's get it. First exercise we have is the cable shoulder press. Now you have different alternatives to this. Of course, a seated dumbbell shoulder press will suffice. Even a machine shoulder press would suffice if you can find one that feels good on your shoulders. But personally for me, if you have this free motion cable shoulder press machine, I recommend using it. It pretty much eliminates that setup you have to do for a dumbbell variant, and surprisingly, it's more stable than the dumbbell variant. And generally, the more stable an exercise is, the more you can focus on training the actual muscle and get more motor unit recruitment. The caveat with this is it might feel awkward in the beginning because, you know, like how many people have tried a cable shoulder press? Regardless, it is worthwhile checking it out. And if not, if you don't have one of these, all good. You can stick to your regular seated dumbbell shoulder press. Definitely do just something seated as opposed to standing because stabilization becomes a big problem. So if your goal is hypertrophy, stick to the seated shoulder press variants. And this is pretty much all I do for direct front delt training. So now, move on to the next exercise. Alright, second exercise and first side delt exercise we're gonna do is this chest supported dumbbell lateral raise. Now, this is gonna be a short and focused lateral raise, meaning the hardest part's gonna be up here at the most contracted position. In general, if you're gonna be hitting multiple exercises involving the same muscle, you wanna start with the one that is more short and focused because this is generally gonna be the area where you fatigue first in the muscle, right? So it's good to start with this because it is harder up here. Why I like doing this chest support as opposed to just standing is, if you're standing, not only do you have less stability, but I think main thing is momentum, right? You can easily, as you get tired, kind of get your hips involved, kind of like this. Now, if you haven't tried a chest support lateral raises before, it's gonna humble you. If you do it correctly, you can pretty much eliminate all momentum from the movement. And I raise up. It's all gonna be my side delt. Now you're probably gonna have to drop the weight by like 5 to 10 pounds, but it's definitely a worthwhile addition to your lateral raise side delt training. With that said, let's get on to exercise 3. And the second side delt exercise I'm gonna show y'all is this unilateral cable lateral raise. How I'm setting it up is I'm making a lengthen focus by bringing the cable pulley kind of high and having it be at my hand height, right? What this does is it makes the more lengthened part, meaning down here, the more stretched part of the range of motion, the hardest part, and it progressively gets easier, thus focusing more on this bottom end. The reason why cable lateral raise is good to pair with a dumbbell lateral raise variant is because of that ability to be more lengthened focused. With a dumbbell, unless you're like kind of leaning on a bench and doing some awkward stuff, you're not really gonna be able to make it lengthen focused because you're subject to gravity. But with cables, depending on the angle of the pulley, you can change the resistance curve of the movement, which is very, very crucial, and that is the advantage with cable training. Now, a quick tip I like to use is, I find that my grip, it's a bit of a limiting factor, so what I do is I actually treat the D handle as a cuff. I kind of put this on the forehand of my arm right here. You don't need to like super high in the wrist or else it's gonna be kind of awkward. I like putting them more on the back of my hand and doing the lateral raise from this position. You take your grip out of the movement and you can really just focus on getting this arm out, okay? Don't focus on going up or else you're gonna be kind of shrugging. You wanna focus on pointing out. Yeah, this is a stable exercise. You can do it like behind the back too. There's different variations to do it, but personally, I like doing it forward. I like taking this wide, very stable sumo stance as opposed to kind of like standing up here because, again, I can make the movement more stable in this position, meaning I can focus more on the side delts and theoretically get better motor unit recruitment out of it. So that was the third exercise. Those are side delt exercises. Now moving on to the fourth exercise, which is gonna be a rear delt one. Let's get it. Whew, okay. Fourth exercise I'm gonna show you on the first rear delt exercise is this dumbbell chest supported rear delt row. Now with this, once again, we're starting out with a short and focused rear delt exercise. Because like I mentioned earlier, it's best to start out more short and focused and then go more lengthen later. You may or may not have seen this before. I think what's more common is to do a chest supported like rear delt fly with dumbbells where you kind of keep your arms a little more straight, but I like doing the row because it shortens the moment arm, meaning you can go a little bit heavier, which I think is valid considering the next exercise we're gonna be doing, which is gonna be more of a flying motion. Now the key thing with making a row more rear delt focused is a couple things. First, you wanna avoid retracting your scapula, or honestly, with this exercise, I kind of just like to stay more in like a neutral scapular position. So in layman terms, avoid squeezing your shoulder blades back. And the second thing has to do with your degree of shoulder abduction. So basically how high or how tucked your shoulder position is. If you're pulling with a very tucked shoulder position, this is gonna be more lat focused. If you're pulling with a very high shoulder position, this is gonna be more mid back, especially if you're squeezing your shoulder blades back as well as pulling in this area. Now this sweet spot in between, right? Let's call it roughly 45-degree angle. This is where you're gonna be wanting to do the row, as this is where the mid back and the lats have less leverage. And couple that with not squeezing your shoulder blades back, you're gonna be able to best bias the rear delts in this position. Now, when it comes to rear delts, it's like a very elusive muscle to train. So me explaining it alone isn't really gonna help. You're gonna have to kind of experiment with it. You can also experiment with the angle of this bench. I used to keep it kind of high. Now I'm experimenting with more, keeping it around like 45 degrees. But honestly, between a bench angle of 45 to 60 degrees should suffice. And one thing I would recommend is try to focus on squeezing at the top, right? Like literally try to pause the rep at the top. When it comes to rear delts, you're probably not gonna be able to hold it for long, if at all. But it's kind of a good mindset to have to kind of help you control the eccentric. Because I find sometimes with rear delts, it's especially hard to control the eccentric on this specific exercise. And yeah, that's the fourth exercise. We're cruising through this video. Let me know if you guys like this more like quick, fast-paced type of video. But if you're like, bro, this is kind of like moving too quickly, and like you're saying a bunch of stuff I don't really understand. Everything, honestly, I just want to know exactly what to do on the workout side as well as the nutrition and have the ability to like ask you questions as they come, then I highly recommend you apply to my exclusive one-on-one fitness coaching program in the link in the description. I personally try to keep this group relatively small because I want to kind of give that attention needed to each and every person. So it is advantageous to apply as soon as possible because I can't really guarantee spots in the future. Moving on to the fifth exercise. Let's get it. exercise, I'm gonna show y'all the 5th exercise, second rear delt exercise, and my personal favorite rear delt exercise is this high to low reverse cable fly. Now this is gonna be a more lengthened focused rear delt exercise, meaning the hardest part's gonna be more in this kind of initial stretch portion of the range of motion. Compared to the dumbbell chest supported rear delt row, which is gonna be more short and focused, this is a great exercise to be paired with that. And in my opinion, if you struggle with actually feeling your rear delts when you're training them, this is a great movement to kind of help you develop that mind-muscle connection. Now, the important thing about this, in general, when you're training rear delts, is you wanna avoid retracting your scapula as you go, right? Meaning squeezing your shoulder blades back as you pull, or else you're just gonna be recruiting muscles in your mid-back. Instead, I stay protracted, so notice how I'm a little bit hunched forward. In this position, I'm able to better isolate my rear delt because I'm not involving as much mid-back musculature since I'm not retracting my scapula, I'm staying protracted. So it's a little bit of an awkward movement to explain. You guys are just gonna have to kind of feel it for yourself. So to demonstrate this, to make it very clear, protracted is this position where my shoulder blades are very spread apart. This is how you wanna be doing the rear delt fly. Now, what you wanna avoid doing is actually squeezing your shoulder blades together like this, or else you see those muscles firing? Those are gonna be the muscles taking away the tension away from your rear delts. So that's essentially what I mean by you wanna stay kind of like hunched over a little bit. And then the last thing you wanna be careful not to do is extend your elbows when you go for the rep. So what I mean is normally as you get more tired, you're gonna wanna straighten your elbows like this, but that's gonna involve more of your triceps. So what I actually do is I start with a more straight arm position, kind of keep my arms pretty straight, if not have a slight bend, and as the set goes on and I naturally fatigue, I'm gonna bend my elbows a little bit more, but I'm gonna avoid straightening them out. So you can bend your elbows, but what you wanna do is always avoid straightening them out, as that's gonna involve the triceps. But as you bend your elbows more, you shorten the moment arm, making the movement a little bit easier. So it's kind of like a mechanical drop set. Doing the rear delt fly from here is a lot easier than doing it from here. That's a little quick tip you guys can employ, and that wraps up the only 5 shoulder exercises you need to build well-rounded delts. Yeah. All right, so I'm gonna pose and then let's get out of here. All right, we got to the spot. Today we're eating Thai food. We're here at Sweet Rice, Thai street food. The thing that intrigued me about this place is they don't even have pad Thai on the menu, which is a very ballsy move for a Thai restaurant here in America. I'm gonna show y'all some of the best high protein meals, and it will kind of open your mind that you don't have to stick to Chipotle if you're eating out trying to get a high protein meal. So we have tip for tip. It's Thai Kamun Gai, which is basically a Thai version of regular chicken and rice. It tastes so much better than regular chicken and rice, which is why I like it. And this is Thai basil chicken, also another high protein option. Basically, you can make this at home with like 99% lean turkey or ground beef, whatever you want. But anyways, thank you guys so much for watching this video. Subscribe if you want to see more videos just like this. Like the video to support my page. I'll see y'all in the next one. Peace.